Welcome back, everyone, to Total Nonstop Impact. Yeah, Impact Talk for Impact fans, right here on the YouTube and the Twitch and wherever you get your podcast audio worldwide. To my left, your right, Alisha joining us tonight. Good evening,
Hey, you. Good evening.
How you been?
Just super. Thanks for asking.
Just super. All right. Bill, excuse me. Bill should be joining us shortly. It looks like there was bets in the chat to see like when we were going to go live. Well, you're close. We're here. We're here, folks. Just kick back, relax. Bell's boy starting out things hot here. My goodness. Thank you, Bell's boy. Much love. Evening, all. Here we go. Daily dose of news. So Becky Lynch almost came to TNA. Friendly fact. AJ Francis is signed and Ace Austin re-signed with TNA. Steph DeLander and Cardona are back. And I know the KIA is not named after the car company Silly J-Bone.
Oh, the car company with all those hamster commercials back in the day.
Right. Those are great.
My friend had one of those. They were scary.
I love
the car, not the hamster.
Right. So really big. You saw like the car-sized hamsters that were like all cool.
Cool. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Cool. Yeah. There we go. Oh man. Very cool. Where the hell was I? Oh yes, we are here. We're going to talk all things TNA this evening. Like I said, Bill should be joining us soon. Everybody's slowly filing in. Sit down. Behave yourselves tonight. That's all I can ask. So we were going to talk a little bit of news to kick things off, but I'm not going to play the jingle. I'll let Bill do that when he gets here because I know he loves doing that. So tonight for news, we got a few points we're going to talk about here. Let me scroll up here. All right. So, yes, and thanks to the super duper chat, we have seen that Ace Austin has re-signed with TNA. Gotta love it when they put out news like that. It's much appreciated. Alisha,
yeah.
What's your thoughts on this news?
Wahoo! It's great. It's great when people. Okay. It's great when people decide to stick around. We love to see it.
It is. It's great. He's been around since. I'm trying to remember. It was like right before
2018.
2018-ish, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you folks didn't see it, he had a lovely little interview with Denise Salcedo, and I believe it's on YouTube. So if you're wanting to go check that out, please do. Let's wait till after the show. Great interview though. I do. I know some people don't like Denise. I like Denise.
Not even worth bringing it up.
All right. Next little piece of news here for all you collectors out there, like myself. This isn't exactly my cup of tea. This would have been my cup of tea back when I was a wee little nard. But for the fans that are still hanging on to Trinity being in the company, here you go. The official wrestling figure podcast with their major bendies came out with a Trinity figure. I think it looks pretty good. I wish they came out with a regular figure that looked like this. My goodness. And I think there's another one that's like in all green. So she's got a few of them out there. So if that's your cup of tea, go check that out. Go get all the Trinity figures. Line them up on your wall like I do. And last but certainly not least, I suppose I got I don't have a picture for it, but we do have to say that, I guess, no details, but I did hear that AJ Francis did sign with the company. So that's good. That's good to know.
Right on.
And this, I gotta, like, in this magazine isn't everybody's cup of tea either, but I love this. I think this is great news. Mustafa Ali being on the cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, part of their 45th anniversary, and holding the TNA X Division title. How Mustafa Ali became the talk of pro wrestling. He is absolutely the talk of pro wrestling in 2024. What do you think of that cover, Alisha?
Are you showing it? It's not showing up.
Oh, I had it up. Hang on. There you go.
Wow, very professional.
Could be the most professional X Division champion.
Hey, you can't take someone else's gimmick like that.
No, but well, you know.
Wrestling.
That is a wrestling. That is a snazzy suit, though. I will say that. My goodness.
Very blue.
And that's my favorite color. So
I can tell.
I can.
You have. Oh wait, no, that's a purple shirt because that's an Ace Austin shirt.
This is in honor of Ace resigning. Yes, so
it's purple. It looks blue on the screen to go with your blue headphones and your cloud hat.
Yeah.
Looking very New York.
Heads in the cloudish.
I'll say.
Why not? So there's some pieces of news. We are starting the Philly tapings now. So these next 4 episodes leading up to what
tonight was a Philly episode?
I believe so.
All right.
Yeah. Tonight was the start of them. Yep.
We recognized the arena, but we weren't 100% sure.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Tom Hannafin said something about it, but I know AJ Francis made a remark about him formerly being a football player for the Giants and whipping the Eagles' ass or something to that effect. So yeah, that was a nice little jab at the home crowd there. Yes, Bell's boy, thank you. Beezy, aka Basil, took the picture of Mustafa Ali.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Getting that credit. And that's not the first time he's gotten stuff on the cover. He's gotten a few covers. Good for him, man. That's definitely going up on his wall, I know. Let's see. Yeah, I can't think of nothing else. So, yeah, we're just going to start off then, and then if Bill comes in here, if he's got anything to add, any news bits, we'll just cut in the middle of the show. It's not a big deal. All right, so we start out hot here with this. What was this called? The 8-4-1 match?
I didn't catch that.
So it was 8 ladies.
It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's different. Yeah, so it's not like something you see every day, but I do like the gimmick. It's a gimmick match.
Yeah.
8-4-1. So you start out with 8. It's 4v4.
A tag, right?
Yeah, and then whatever team of 4 wins, they face off against each other, and that winner is the number 1 contender, or whatever they're going for. Yeah. So this was for whoever's going to face Jordan Grace at Rebellion, I believe.
Yeah.
So we start out here, Havok, Lish, Masha Slamovich, and Jody Threat versus, well, it was supposed to be Ash, but she had something wrapped around her head. What did they say?
Oh, that was like a spot headband.
Oh God, it was great. It was. So it looked like one of those like weird like toothache things from back in the day. You wrap the thing around your head.
I'm sure that's what they were like trying to portray, but it was definitely a spot headband.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I loved it
because she got her Botox.
Is that what it was? A Botox? Yeah, and then later during the match, Xia Brookside like landed on her face. It was great.
Yeah,
love these little spots that turn into storylines. So Xia Brookside is in the match. Dani, Luna, Rosemary, and replacing Ash. This is cool. Let me get your thoughts on this. The return of Steph DeLander.
Yeah, this big.
What did you think about?
Well, normally my first thought would have been is that she is. Back, so that must mean Cardona isn't far behind, and wow.
So,
sorry, what just happened.
yeah, I like blanched. I was like, what? It's like somebody farted. All right. Dear God. So yeah, this was fun. This is one I wish lasted a little longer, but fun nonetheless. It was cool how they actually like split tag teams up to do this.
That's what kind of threw me off at first because I'm like, wait, people on teams are across from each other. Like, wait, what's up? And then I was like, oh, it must be like some kind of like. All right, whatever. Yeah, they explained it once it was where it needed to be.
Right. And the it definitely kept it interesting. Like either way, if you had a tag team on one side, they were going to be facing each other anyway. So why not shake it up anyways? So someone asked me during the live reaction, was like, well, what do you think about that? And I'm like, I love a shake up, like they don't need to do that all the time, but once in a while, yeah, I'm good with that. Especially with the return of Steph DeLander, and she's back, and all of a sudden she gets a title shot. Well, I know some people aren't going to be happy about that, but like I said, I like a shake up once in a while. Why not?
Yeah. And like this comment says, it was a good show opener. So,
right,
agreed.
Yeah, because typically you've got something from the X division, and if we're not getting that, well, shoot, give me a bunch of knockouts kicking the crap out of each other. I'm down.
That's good though.
Yeah.
I liked Cardona implementing himself into the match to help Steph DeLander get the win.
Yeah, that was one thing that I sadly found out about before the weekend even.
Oh, a spoiler.
It showed up on my timeline. It's not like I looked for it. It's all of a sudden it was like, that's Cardona. Oh, he jumped in the ring. Oh, is that Steph DeLander too? Oh, so I was like, ooh, there's some craziness coming. I'm like, I can't wait. So yeah, as much as I don't like spoilers, but that's I wasn't going to be mad about it. I couldn't wait to see what was going to happen, but I wasn't going to spread it around either, you know. So I saw it about the same time Bill and I did the news bit on the Motor City Machine Guns saying farewell to TNA. So, and if you folks missed that, go check it out. It's on the channel.
So they're done.
Yeah, they're done. Yeah, they were saying their farewells apparently at the tapings. So there are a lot of people talking about that. And it's a bummer, but we've said this many times on the podcast. It's like, man, if you can go someplace and go get yourself that bag of money, go get it. Seriously. You know?
Well, as we learn later on in the show, is that when one door closes, another one opens, and apparently we're getting the FBI back.
Oh yeah, I didn't catch during the show when that little thing popped up on the screen. Was that right after the knockouts match?
No, I don't know. I was just saying at some point in the show, that's what they gave us. So I'm just saying in regards to the Motor City Machine Guns stepping out, some former TNA team is stepping back in. So you still get your little nostalgia acts.
Right. Yeah. Well, because that's Philly.
Well, yeah, that, but also, you know, if you're going to go back to TNA, you have to have someone. It's like, yeah, we got Eric Young, and Kaz and stuff, but like you still need more than just two guys to kind of carry on that legacy. You know what I mean? So it makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. We'll see who it is. Is it the team of old, or is it a new rendition of the team? Who knows?
I got a feeling it's got to be at least Nunzio.
Yeah.
At least Nunzio, or at least I know he was
Trinity
called
in the FBI. Not Trinity, Naomi Trinity, but Trinity. Way back when.
You're talking about the like first knockouts Trinity.
Yeah, the caution tape girl. If you know, you know.
Wow. you know, I know. My goodness.
Oh, that one. Oh, yes.
That was.
Now I recall.
That was a hell of a photo shoot from back then. My goodness. Talk about a different time in professional wrestling. You know what? I can't remember if she was. And I know there was a version of FBI in it was like the early to mid years of the 2000s in SmackDown, and Nunzio was over there, and I can picture them, but I can't think of for the life of me who the guy. Oh, it was Chuck Palumbo and other guy. Oh, the same guy. You know what? It just hit me. The same guy that was under the mask of Relic in TNA. And I cannot think of what the guy's name is. Somebody in the chat's going to come up with it.
There we go.
Oh, Trinity was in the New York Connection. That's it. Thank you, David Valentine.
Thank you.
That's pretty close to FB.
New York Italian.
It's got the same,
the Vafangule.
Yeah, Fugazi. Johnny Stamboli. Wow, David Valentine's. That's killer spelled backwards. Thank you, Justin Miller. By the way, one of our membership members. Thank you to all our membership members out there. Appreciate it. Make sure you folks smash that like button, smash that sub button, ring that bell for notifications, and check out memberships. So yeah, we'll see. I'm guessing Nunzio and like at least one other guy, because it can't be just Nunzio by himself. You know.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Stromboli.
For sure.
I'm laughing at the name
Anyway.
Johnny Stromboli. Yeah. All right. So Steph Lander's back. Little help from her friend
friends.
Matt Cardona. The what is? Yeah, right. Just like the song, eh? What is Matt calling himself nowadays? Is he still calling himself the Deathmatch King?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay. I just know he's been all over the indies with her, and I think it's awesome.
Not the indies I'm watching. So I don't know. I'm out of the loop.
New FBI, Big Vito. Yeah, didn't Big Vito pass away like 10 years ago? So, I don't know. What are
you going on about? I thought we moved on from that segment.
I'm sorry.
And
someone put in the.
What are you, an episode of Lost? Time jump in here, buddy.
Lost as usual. All right. Bay backstage with Ace Austin talking about being on the same page for the future. Seems they're a little not quite on the same page, but Bay does decide to agree with Ace, and he's like, "Oh, I am for the ABC. I do support the ABC." He's like, "So you know what? I support what you did, so I'm going to go after Kaz too." So we're getting that match, I believe, next week. I know we had a segment where Kaz was cutting a promo, and then Bay interrupted him. I know I'm time jumping a hair there, but just rolling those together. Next, we got Grizzled Young Vets in the ring. Boy, I tell you, every time I see them in the ring, I'm really appreciative that they are a part of the brand of TNA. They're something else. And Diener comes out, and Diener's on this new kick, and I don't feel like this is gonna be. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It's not going to be good for his health. This whole listening to the audience stuff.
Your local friendly Diener, or neighborhood Diener. It's interesting. He's a great face, but you might be correct. Is that he might be in a spot of trouble doing what he's doing. That crazy gentleman.
A spot of trouble. Yeah, like he had the opportunity to face one of them and ended up facing both.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, Diener, don't kill yourself. It's not worth it. Grizzled Young Vets beat him up for his troubles. They get the win here. Fun little battle.
Real quick, Mir says you skipped over the Time Splitter segment.
Yeah, well, let's just say the first 20 minutes of the show was a little rough. I know I missed a little here, a little there. So, yeah, they were just discussing stuff and back.
Yeah.
About being on the same page.
There you go.
So, yeah.
See, we got it, Mir.
Yeah. Mayor always want to count me out on my faults if I skip something. So,
well, what can we do?
I am not too worried about it. But joining us, better late than never, ran all the way from the 2300 arena to join us live. Mr. Front Row.
Wasn't that last weekend? What do you mean ran all the way from?
It takes a while. I'm not quick.
And boy,
I got slowed down by cheesesteaks.
Fair enough. We'll allow it.
It was the first cheesesteak visit in quite some time. On Saturday, on the second day of tapings, was able to go a little early and get John's roast pork, but for a cheesesteak, who I consider number one There's a couple that are in contention for number one, but that's my current number one for the last handful of years. So, but they usually run out of cheesesteak material around like 4:30 p.m. and they close at 5 because they were only a lunch spot, so they're not really a before show spot. They're like a before game spot. But
okay.
But how's the TNI fam?
Good. They're on fire tonight.
Ooh.
On fire. Any hot news coming out of the 2300 arena tonight? I covered some news earlier. I covered let's see, what did I cover? Oh yeah. I said Trinity's got a new major figures bendy at Ringside Collectibles. That's easy to say. Talked about Ali getting the cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Very nice. Congrats. First X Division champion since Samoa Joe.
You're right. To make the cover? Yeah. It's been too long. And then I talked about AJ Francis news that he signed in that TNA re-signed Ace Austin.
Can't go wrong with that. That's a big one because that's a core guy. I know when we talked about some contracts coming up, like what was it? Maybe a month ago. Like Ace was one of the names that we kind of knew was on the horizon. Like Josh Alexander, Ace, like there were a handful of names, and obviously a guy that they've put a lot into over the years. Like if you look at like a foundation, we were just talking about him. That's a guy that we obviously saw pegged as a world champion not long ago. So will be interesting to see. Is it more like he made it seem like definitely more ABCs in the fold, which is nothing wrong with that. But could we get that solo run in the near future as well? We'll see. And I saw he was also announced Mania weekend for he's on the show at the Murphy Rec Center with Combat Zone Wrestling going against top guy Griffin McCoy. So that'll be a cool seeing Ace at that venue. Hopefully we see Gia as well.
Nice. Yeah, Mania weekend is going to be nuts with shows and different things that are TNA guys showing up, especially in that that Josh Burnett Bloodsport. Holy cow!
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'm already thinking of pacing myself now because I was planning on trying to squeeze more stuff into this weekend, but that's probably asking too much because kind of starting Wednesday, it's all wrestling all the time through Monday. So it's going to be a crazy couple days.
Yeah, next week is going to be nuts. And that no spoilers, of course, but we did get the announcement that the FBI is returning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Love the FBI.
Yeah. So we were just
full-blooded Italians.
Full-blooded Italians, yes. So we were saying it's probably Nunzio and some inception
Come on, J-Bone. Come on, man.
What?
Little Guido.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't watch him in the classic ECW. I always
You're going WWE version.
I know. Well, we also talked about Johnny Stamboli and Chuck Palumbo. So
hey, can't go wrong with Chuck Palumbo.
Hey, that was a fun version.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's evolved over the years.
So it'll be great to see him in whatever inception of FBI comes back. I don't want to miss this. This happened right before Bill popped in here. Thank you, Dr. Gerbs, for the $10 super chat. Great time at the shows. Just getting my voice fully back today. Can't wait till June for the return. Condolences go out to Violent J of ICP on the loss of his mom yesterday. Can I get a not this guy again? You can absolutely get that.
Wonderful.
If we can find it.
You want me to help you out, J-Bone?
Yeah, go ahead if you got it.
Yeah, here you go.
We got this guy again.
Yeah, we got this guy again. There we go. Yes. All right.
Whoop, whoop.
So thank you, Dr. Gerbs. Greatly appreciate it.
June will be here before you know it.
Yeah, right. Wrestling capital of the world next week. This is true, Eric Isaac. All right, so we covered the 841 match, but I do want to get your opinion on the return of Steph DeLander and Matt Cardona.
I can't say I'm totally surprised by it. It did feel like it was something that would happen at some point. It felt like, especially with Cardona, it felt like he was going to be, like he said, only positive things, even though he wasn't featured anymore, as he was doing his pretty much his indie life. And then obviously Steph DeLander's an act with him for a lot of it. But we really didn't see that connection at TNA or Impact previously. It was just solo for both of them. So now seeing them together doing their kind of combination, the death match King and Queen on TNA, that's going to be interesting because it's probably something that was needed for both, because obviously we've seen some changes to the roster over the last few months. So both DeLander and Cardona are going to be, I think, a nice addition to the roster. Definitely something to kind of mix things up a little bit, add some new matchups, and obviously a guy that can get heat. And now Steph can also get heat too. So they're a good act together. Where you need that. You need that.
You really do, and I give him a lot of credit for kind of taking her under his wing. But yeah, they've been all over the place, so I'm excited about it. Let's see. Next, we got Gia Miller talking to Nick Nemeth backstage, and Alex Shelley interrupts. Nick Nemeth is a little taken back, like he's like, yeah, I'd love to work with you. And Alex Shelley's like, well, how about sooner rather than later? Because you don't want to go into Rebellion versus Moose all rusty. And Nick is like, okay. So kind of an interesting little conversation there. We did see the match advertised online, but Nick Nemeth versus Alex Shelley should absolutely tear the house down. Next, we get Josh Alexander in the ring. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of the show here. He's absolutely obsessed with Hammerstone. He does an open challenge, which means anyone can join.
Anyone in the building. Could be you,
but
Jim.
it has to be Hammerstone. I'm
talking to you, Hammerstone.
I'm sitting there in the live reaction. I'm like, that's not how it goes, Josh. That's not how it goes. But we get for the response for the open challenge, we get some hot sauce. Tracy Williams.
Catch point.
What are your catch point? Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on the surprise of Tracy Williams showing up?
Alisha, thoughts on Tracy? Are you a hot sauce? Are you a hot sauce gal?
Why? Only for me to be like, I don't know who that is.
Okay, that I wasn't sure, because he obviously
that's okay.
He was pretty common in a lot of the indies in this area, like Northeast indies. a lot of time in Ring of Honor, Evolve.
That's why.
Not
my feds.
Yeah, like I think he got involved in Chikara, but a lot of indies around here. Obviously, his biggest thing to date was probably that, but Ring of Honor / Evolve run, because Catch Point with a lot of the guys that wound up in WWE was kind of the big stable with Drew Gulak and that
Drew
crew.
Gulak.
Yeah, that was kind of like his main thing. Yep, he was in there for a bit. So,
and who was the fourth guy? There was a few guys, but who was like the main four? It was Tracy Williams,
Chaka. There was a couple, because it like they kind of kept adding.
Oh yeah, the tag team of what's his name, Jaka, and the guy that's he's been
and Timothy Thatcher.
Yeah, but there was another guy that Jaka tagged with.
You're testing my couple years ago indie knowledge.
I know.
And I'm saying a couple of years. It's probably like 5-6 years ago now. It's not. He that
actually did anymore. He made an appearance in that TNA AAA show at Madison Square Garden, or I should say, in the basement of Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden.
GCW, he's been prominent in there too. God, I can't think of the guy's name. But anyways,
guys.
But yeah, Catch Point was awesome. Had a lot of great members. You hear any whispers in the wind about Tracy staying?
You never know. I know when he was announced, and I think we talked about, I don't know if it was on our news episode about the Guns or last week, if he was announced for that match. It feels like he's pretty much local, so that was an easy booking. But I definitely think it's one of those things, hey, you impress, you never know. And long. So I could definitely see him making a return. I just, with the roster right now, I wouldn't count on, like, it's almost like right now they got to fill in the people they have with kind of storylines. So probably not. Although I do see Justin saying here he was in the foundation with Gresham in Ring of Honor, because that was his Ring of Honor group.
Yeah, I knew he was in Ring of Honor. I just couldn't think of the group or whatever.
I thought it was the Hot Sauce Wizard. Sorry.
The Hot Sauce Wizard. Hey, not a bad name. But speaking of Gresham, I know a lot of people have been asking when are we going to see Gresham again? I believe he still is on the roster page, because I don't think we've seen him since kind of that October exodus of a lot of people when they weren't recording new content. I can confirm I saw him, but there's a reason, because his wife's on the roster. So I don't think that means anything, but like he's around. So could I see him show up maybe in a backstage segment or back on the show soon? I don't see why not. I just don't think they really had anything storyline wise. And that's kind of, I think, how it goes. If you don't have anything, they're not just going to put you out there for the sake of it. So remember, obviously they were doing stuff with Bailey, but now Bailey's with Trent Sabin and getting tag title chances. So we'll see what the next step is for Gresham, but I wouldn't count him out.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. But yeah, great match. Josh gets the win. Hopefully we'll see Tracy Williams again. We get the announcement, and I kind of covered this in the news already, but April 16th in newsstands, PWI is featuring Mustafa Ali on the cover.
Oh,
then we have a nice little segment where they're talking about it. And then who interrupts them? Oh, Rhino. Of all people.
War Machine Rhino.
War Machine. So I guess it's a non-title match, but we're getting Mustafa Ali versus Rhino, and I'm like, oh my god.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean it's something different, right? You know, it's not typical.
Yeah, you don't see that match.
No. I love Rhino.
Mayor, keeping everyone on their toes still. Hammerstone attacked Josh and Trent after the match, Jabo.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Missed that part. Hammerstone. But yeah, he drilled both of them pretty bad. Yeah. Eddie Edwards versus Mike Bailey. Absolutely another highlight of this episode. Of course, you had Trent Seven out there with Bailey. Eddie Edwards flanked by his wife and Mike Myers. Mike Myers. Or Brian Myers.
Austin Powers. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Or the guy from Halloween.
Or the guy from Halloween.
Just fire me now.
Still one of the best in-jokes in a movie. Baby Driver, right? Is it Baby Driver? Where, yes, where Jamie Foxx's crew for a bank robbery, they say get the Mike Myers mask, and they get Austin Powers mask instead of the Halloween mask. It's fantastic. God.
I love that.
That is good.
I've never seen that, but that's funny.
I definitely recommend it.
They all run in, guns blazing. Yeah, baby, yeah. That's a threat. But your guys' thoughts on this match, Edwards versus Mike Bailey.
Quite the bruise on Mike Bailey's arm, huh?
It was instant. I pointed it out to my friend Steve, who was next to me. I'm like, as soon as he hit him, I'm like, that's an instant bruise. Because it was an instant bruise, which normally you see a bruise maybe a minute or two later during the match. But it was there. It was he got him, man. He got him good. Which you'll never say that Eddie lets up on anything. Or Mike. They both. These guys, they go hard on their shots.
They bring it.
They bring it.
Oh yeah.
So you're getting your money's worth when you see these two go one-on-one. And I'm sure you'll see the same in a tag team match.
Oh, that's gonna be nuts. I can't wait. But yeah, back and forth, these guys were nuts. And Lish, wearing the new tee.
Lish is the best.
Paying dividends too for that. Yeah, they all did great.
Apparently, here.
Oh, here we go. Bill, did you see Speedball hit his head on the ring post?
I did.
I thought we were friends.
It's amazing he doesn't have more because of some of the stuff he does. But yeah, that does happen. That can happen when you're doing moves like that.
Gotta look out for them doors.
And how long before he starts wearing boots? Just curious.
Although you never know. I never thought we'd see the day when Fallah Bahh was wearing them, and then he did.
He cut his hair.
Oh my goodness, what's going on?
Yeah, he cut his hair.
Professional.
There you go. Let's see. We get Eddie Edwards beats Mike Bailey in a slobber knocker. Great match. Can't wait for
Wrong
the
show. Use that creepo slang.
Creepo
What's
slang.
That? Creepo. PCO screaming for Khan and some dark dingy
John.
Place.
Well, dark dingy place. That's monster.
The boiler room. Oh, it's just corny.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. It was cool, the first couple runs with it, but now I'm just all right.
Wrap it up, guys.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
I feel like the purpose of this is hopefully Khan comes out looking like the monster, or PCO takes him like a baby bird under his wing and teaches him how to be a true nightmare to society. But otherwise, I'm not really interested in this. Gotta keep it real.
First, he's got a date. He's got a date to the ball.
Who?
Monsters ball. Monsters Ball.
Oh, he kept fucking yelling. He was so bad.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now you said take him under his wing like a baby bird. I can picture both, like, it's like there's like a sunset and they're both, sitting at the beach and
So you're making it weird now.
What's more of an Uncle Pierre Carl?
Taking him under his wing has nothing to do with having a romantic date on the beach, buddy.
Oh, I didn't say romantic. I'm just saying.
No, but you're setting it.
Well, now you know if J-Bo's ever taken you under his wing, expect long walks on the beach
at sunset. Don't forget the sunset.
I was thinking more
professional
like
podcasting opinion.
When Rocky was like running down the beach
at Apollo,
yeah, see,
getting strong now. I see where you're getting, J-Bo.
And then they were jumping up and down in the water. That's kind of what.
Well, they couldn't put him on the stairs anymore. They didn't get the filming rights.
Well, they're like Apollo is like, I'm making crop tops cool. So
the 80s.
Take that, 1980s.
Men don't have the balls to wear crop tops.
Some do. Not all. Some do.
Oh, just wait.
Not manly.
Yeah. Kaz backstage cutting a promo. We touched a little bit on this earlier. Chris Bay interrupts him, showing his support for the ABC. So it's, we're going to get Chris Bay versus Kaz. I think next week. Pretty sure.
Yes. Sounds like it. Sounds like it.
Yeah. I believe that was confirmed at the end of the episode. AJ Francis in the ring with Rich Swann cutting a promo. Feel like a promo heavy episode, but that's okay because it's story drives the storyline,
And it's been a while since we've had that much in ring promos.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talking. I tuned it out.
Oh,
it's like what? What?
Oh, you're going stone cold on him? Well, I'll tell you what. We did something not quite what. We did, me and some of my cohorts next to me, because the team name, First Class, that's what they're calling themselves, which goes all the way back to that first promo about telling Swan, you hang out with me, you can sit in first class. But there was a guy on, I guess, hard cam side that was just so into it in like the second row. And he was just standing up, yelling, first class. So that became our running joke. So we weren't saying like, we weren't going first class. We were going first class. Like we were making sure to go like high pitch first class. All during later in the promo. And so I think that's going to stick. The first class, I think, say a good chant. AJ appreciates it.
There you go.
But it's fun. But it did go. Hey, it was long. But you know what? That's wrestling. Like, what are your thoughts on the long promo? Let us know in the chat because, like, other companies go very long on promos. Well, we know one company that doesn't. They wouldn't know a long promo if it hit them in the rear end. But another one is kind of making their best ratings in television that people are saying lately, and it's very long promos. I think if you have the right people doing it, you could do a long promo. But as Alisha said, it depends. If you have interest in that person and that character, that's where long promos can work versus can't.
Oh, yeah.
So it's definitely a perception thing because there's definitely people that no matter probably who's doing it, you're going to tune out after a couple minutes. But it's always a good question. I think you got to find the right place on the card for it too. Like, if it's not at the right time, it can't work. But if it's at the right time, it can work okay.
Mm.
Well, and when's the last time we got a promo from Rich Swann?
That don't matter. That don't matter.
Well, are we counting IPWF? It's the mid-'80s.
Oh, I'm just saying. It's been a long time. It's I was curious how he was going to, tie this all to AJ Francis and just how he was going to.
Well, I think that's part of why I'm such a fan of it all because Rich Swann needed something. You could tell he was in creative purgatory lately. There wasn't a direction, and now he's got a direction. And the newly signed through the end of the year, AJ Francis, who no matter whatever you say about his previous run, that guy is waving the banner, even though he's showing up everywhere. He's Mr. TNA out there. Like he's heavily promoting everything. Like I always give kudos. Like it should be a normal thing, but I guess I've lived through enough of this company's history where people sign on, big names come on, and they barely talk about the company. So when these people do this, I like it. And I think his act, even like in his few matches you see, like I think he's been fine in his matches that we've seen him in, big man stuff. But I think his promos are a little different from the norm, but I think they're good. I think he does a pretty good job. And I think him with Swann, with the kind of that dynamic of the big guy, the little guy. And we all know Rich Swann is a great worker. That this could be some interesting stuff. Like I think First Class is probably in for some tag team gold this year.
Oh, absolutely. Give it time, but yeah. And I got a feeling they're going to get another member. I'm just not sure who.
Ooh.
Don't be surprised.
He needed the heel turn, Swan. Just like, honestly, Kaz. OG, we all love Kaz. But Kaz needed the heel turn. He needed the heel turn.
I'm still holding out for my Jordan Grace heel turn.
How about that? That's one. Well, it's a good question. Jordan Grace heel turn or Alex Shelley full heel turn? What have we been waiting longer for?
Ooh.
Like two of the longest almost storylines.
Well, now, I mean, Alex doesn't really matter because they're out.
Well, that's the thing. Like, is he going to be out and we never got the heel storyline?
Whereas Jordan is fully committed. So I think we'll see that one first. I hope. Like, you could even do a cool storyline where it's like being at the top for so long, she is driven to the point of insanity where it's like.
And you could see that because we've talked about this. It's almost like who's going to defeat Jordan for the belt? Is there somebody that can? And her going heel, having a run as a heel at some point, and then being like an underdog face, take it off her via like the old Gail Kim and Awesome Kong storyline, like where you don't think anybody can beat Jordan Grace. But maybe there is that upstart Zaya Brookside or somebody out of nowhere that can come take that title. But as a face, that match ain't happening. But as a heel, it could. But it feels like it's still a ways off because Jordan is such the face of the division. I don't think we'll see that until
right.
If we see it,
and it's understandable.
Oh yeah. If she was once again, will we have seen it if she was on her way out? Possibly.
We got tastes of it.
Yeah, we got the tease. Definitely got the tease.
Yeah. Well, the whole Knockouts division is changing so much ever since the inception of the rebrand of TNA. New faces, new teams, championships getting moved around. It's exciting for me,
It is. Although I gotta say, Jaba, I know I wasn't here for the opening contest, but that we didn't get any Ash by Elegance in the match. I'm a little sad, but she'll be okay. She has to heal.
What did you think about Alisha? What did you call it? The yoga band wrapped around the head?
It's a spa headband.
Spa headband. That's it.
I only know because I have one just like it in pink.
The old spa. What you learn on the TNI show? Yeah,
so it's like for when you wash your face and you don't want to get water all over your hair and stuff. It's meant to be like that barrier.
So, it's the Anchorman rules. No touching of the hair and face.
I use that all the time.
You need it, Jaba.
Yeah, I bet you don't even wash your face.
I do after I do a little manscaping.
There you go. There you go. Set it up on a tee for you, J-Bone.
There you go.
Baseball season.
It's baseball.
Oh, is it?
Well, opening day was today in baseball. Not for all teams, since the rainstorm of the century that didn't happen. But it's opening day. There's festivities. They wanted nicer weather, so a lot of the East Coast teams are starting off tomorrow.
Yeah, the Brewers were in New York, and that got rained out.
Yes. So, well, it got preemptively rained out, all these games.
Yeah.
It was overcast a little bit. Like regular season, they would have played all those games.
You're right. All right, so this is interesting. This next segment here,
Ooh.
An informative interview, if you will.
Yes.
Tom Hannafin sitting down with Laredo Kid, and I love this because as much as I love Laredo Kid and everything he does, the lucha style wrestling, in wrestling in TNA. I can't say I know a lot about him, and so this was kind of cool. He said he goes all the way back to like 2003 when he was learning. I was like, holy cow, this guy's been around for a while. But a lot of lucha wrestlers learn at a super young age. So,
because that's another guy, J-Bone, that I feel like we've been talking about. And I know Scott had that big announcement at Hard to Kill with Dorian about the AAA relationship. And it's like, okay, now when are we going to see that more? The AAA relationship? Because technically we have less because we don't have Black Taurus anymore. So really, Laredo Kid was the only connection. And it's like, well, what are they going to do with Laredo Kid? And once again, I'm a huge fan of Laredo Kid, and he's obviously our main luchador right now in the company. So it's like, all right, well, let's see him get a little more time, a little more investment, and I feel like now we're getting it, as John Palmer says. Laredo, not a kid no more.
You're right. Well, one thing you talked about the connection with AAA that we talked about it in news, but it was one very important factor that I did not realize when I brought up the Alberto El Patron versus Nick Nemeth match at Triple Mania. It's for the world title.
See, that's what I thought. When we brought this up a week ago, it felt like we were not talking about a belt. And I'm like, okay, all right. But I figured it had to be for a belt. Because it's almost like every major match has a belt involved down there.
I didn't realize it would see. I missed the news. I didn't hear about Vikingo. He's injured.
He doesn't. So he's out for I think a while, sadly.
Yeah, but he had that belt forever.
He did. And kudos once again to Laredo, who had that major injury that he came back from. Like that was scary.
Oh yeah, that was part of the story too. Yeah.
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 Like that's the scary stuff that can happen when it's internal stuff like that.
So yeah, congrats to everything going on with Laredo Kid, and I can't wait to see what else he brings to the table for TNA and
be on the lookout for the Lucha Mask.
Yeah, right. Oh, and I also brought up during the live reaction, I said I'm pretty sure Boss Fight Studios has a Laredo Kid action figure. It's one of the more little pricey ones, but it's
is that from like their Lucha line of wrestlers?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
like when they had Black Taurus.
Right, yeah, that line. Yeah, it's all white, so it's got like he's got the white headdress, and then he's got like a big white cape. It's incredible.
Ooh, very cool. Very cool.
It's on my It's on my list. It's
on your Christmas list.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, early Christmas. Let's see here. We get the preview of next week then. Ali versus Rhino, non-title, I believe. Kaz versus Chris Bay. Is it Zaya Brookside versus Ash? Or did I hear that wrong?
I think that's what was announced. Yeah, we're getting it. We're getting the match. We've been waiting for it. It's her fault, J-Bone.
Yeah, she got her during that opening match today. My goodness.
we're proponents of the Iceman on this podcast, J-Bone.
Oh, we are. But it's funny to,
Zaya, you have an open invitation to
it's
give
funny when wrestling gets a little slapstick,
It's very old school. What Iceman and Ash are doing, to me, feels like a storyline like right out of my youth. And that's what I like. Right. I like the throwbacks to stuff like that. I know that's probably not everybody's thing, but that's what I like to see. And that's why I think I've always liked TNA so much, is because they give you this little bit. Like where it's not just all big work rate matches. It's not just all like very long promos. They'll have that, but they mix in the comedy, the old school stuff. That's what I like.
Yeah. And then we're getting Nemeth versus Shelley.
Ooh.
That's got to be a headliner.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Yes, Mayor. Ali and Rhino is old school rules.
Old school rules. When you're in that building, you got to do some old school rules.
Yeah, it's a must. It's a must in Philly.
Although it is funny because obviously Rhino, last ECW champion, he has that distinction. Last real ECW champion. But the funny thing is, he wasn't in ECW that long, because he was very early in his career ECW. But he was like, he's so much more of a TNA guy, like by far, than an ECW guy at this point of his career. But he is an original ECW guy too.
Oh yeah, he also
like I go back and forth because I think everybody knows my history. I go back to Eastern, so I'm an old ECW guy myself. But it's TNA now. I love that building. I love that TNA is making it more of their home now, which is great. So, but it's time for them to have now their time, like with their and that's something I know. There was a lot of talk in some of the like the group chats I'm in and all. I don't know if it was discussed. Thoughts on, because this was different, because they haven't been to this building in a couple of years. Because when they were filming in that building before, they were facing the stage, and now they've gone to more. They're facing the audience. Is now what they do. So they made that change to face the audience. Now, obviously, the arena, it's rare. Although TNA did it years ago, they had like one set of risers in like that section they face to kind of make the level of people go higher, but they don't have bleachers. That's not what that building does. So should they film how they're filming it there, or do people prefer the presentation of facing the entrance, which I was a big fan of? I know a lot of people are a fan of how they, because I wasn't even sure how they were going to do the tunnel, because of how they've been doing this set. It wouldn't have worked in the arena, but doing it face first, like a shorter version of the tunnel, I think was a good way to do it. I think that looks really good. But would you like to see it go camera on there? Because I did hear some people, they were critiquing the, because it looked darker probably than some previous episodes based on how the setup was, because the camera's now facing down, sort of how like Hard to Kill was in Vegas. But remember initially that people thought it had not enough light, but then they changed it midway through the show, and that could be the same thing with the arena compared to how they did it previously.
Yeah, I'm good either way.
Like I said, I don't know if it's one of those things that matter. I think it's everything before, like people were talking about having stuff on the guardrails and stuff like that. It's the dressing up of the show, but I know that's been a big topic ever since last year when they put all the money, the new resources in the production. So I know now people are probably more critical. Well, I haven't seen in the chat, I don't think, yet tonight. So I may have just set out the bat signal for critical, but for Wally, Team Twitch in the house. Will you see Zaya at Stardom in Philly? I will see Zaya in Stardom in Philly. So looking forward to that. And I know she has a new T-shirt she's promoting with WrestleCon and all that she'll have at her table. If she brings that to Stardom, I will buy a Zaya T-shirt. Just for I can be like, Ash, go after her. I'm pointing her out to you.
As soon as she gets done with that toothache. Main event time. Main event time. We've got Steve Maclin versus Chris Sabin. In just another, I mean, there was a lot of matches in this show that I wanted to say were match of the night. This was tough because this was a great main event.
You can say it, J-Bone. We can all say it. I love this match.
Absolutely. What'd you guys think of this?
Bill.
Well, this is obviously Sabin is one of the best. TNA future Hall of Famer. But Maclin, former world champion, not long ago. He brought it. Like I said, like he had his title run. His match with PCO, I think, is what made him a made man. But I thought Maclin was up to the task, up to the fight. And obviously he gets the win here, which I think is probably, if all the stories weren't out there, and obviously we did a whole special news episode on TNI about the Guns leaving, so now it probably is not surprising how it plays out. But I know a lot of people were thinking, because that was the big story, 2 months ago, that Maclin's contract was coming up. I think for all those people, you might feel a little bit better. I know nothing's been announced, but if they're going through the effort to put Maclin over with a legend like Chris Sabin on the way out the door, that's got to be a good thing for his future.
No, anything. Yeah, I've been a fan of Maclin for quite a while. To me, he's just a rough and tough throwback. So
he is.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that whole Ring of Honor storyline, J-Bone. And remember, Maclin was always teasing the involvement, but he was never really getting involved. Like, it was when he was face. He wasn't really heel Maclin yet. And, but, you could see it. You could see it. And then, obviously, he was working snug in all of his matches. But then he had his run, and it was taken from us due to Josh's injury. But that was going to be them playing all those Canadian cities. And it was going to be like hometown boy Josh Alexander versus evil American Steve Maclin. Like, it had so much potential. But now, if Maclin is sticking around long term, at least for this next year with Josh Alexander, I think we got some good potential going forward. So I'm looking forward to it. I got to highlight here Dr. Gerbs, because I did see this. I did not pick it up. I missed out on this. They had an event T-shirt at the arena that had like some of the big names, big TNA faces on it with the arena pictured. Very cool shirt. And I just know how Dr. Gerbs feels about Nick Nemeth. He's not a fan of old Dolph. And he's prominent on the shirt. So I give him kudos.
Oh, see, that's that's a shirt I absolutely would have bought. I think that's really cool.
It's one of those things, J-Bone, because you know me, like when I get there, like, and I'll give credit because I know Mayor's asking about like attendance and things like that. I can't give a confirmation, although I probably could. I know it was reported. I think it came out via like I think they said 500 and 700 the 2 nights. I think that 500 is a little low because by the time, once again, not during like Explosion, but by the time the real like the bell starts for the main show, there wasn't many empty seats. There were some people standing. So it was pretty full. I don't know if I'd call it a sellout per se, because when you get a sellout at that building, you're talking close to 1,000 people. But if you're talking just under that, then you're talking in that 700 to 800 range, for sure. So I would say there was maybe on the low end close to 700, and on the high end, maybe a little over 800. But definitely the crowd brought it, just like every other town there is for the most part. Most wrestling fans, especially, they walk up. There's going to be a lot of day of sales. It's like, oh, there's a show going on tonight. They decide to go a couple hours beforehand. Like, that's what happens. Advanced ticket sales and TNA, and honestly, most wrestling companies, it's one of those, like, it's like TV ratings for the most part. You can kind of ignore them because it's different. Like, you can't look through a spectrum of like 20 years ago with ticket sales. Like, if you have a certain one-off show, and kind of Hard to Kill was that weekend, it was the return of TNA. It had a lot of momentum, because I know that's another talking point is the return to Vegas, because they haven't had all like the huge ones yet. But in the end, are they going to get, like they did fantastic last time? You're talking, what was that gate? Upwards of 1,500, I think. If they get close to 1,000, that's going to be a win. So that should kind of be the goal. Just like in these other venues, their goal is probably like 700, 800. It's a win.
Cool. Yeah, I did hear that night 2 was better than night 1. That's all I heard. I didn't really see any numbers. But I know usually when they do go to Philly, they do draw a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, like that's it's more than MLW was doing for sure.
Oh,
like it was definitely more full for that. So that was a good thing to see. But yeah, like I know everyone gets stuck on selling out or not. Oh, hold on, David Penzer just dropping stuff in the chat here. We were teasing some other news coming out. So I have a book coming out, and it's awesome. Just saying. I can confirm that because David Penzer let me know that he has a book coming out. So obviously, David Penzer, I know it's obviously late in tonight's show, but definitely we'll get you on here because I know we still have a special to do with you with that footage from Final Resolution, but definitely to also talk about the new book. So let us know. I think we were going to plan it to when you can possibly do some pre-sales, so we can definitely promote it within the TNI fam community here. So definitely stay tuned for that. And always good to see David Penzer in the chat.
Yes.
The legend.
Hope you're doing well tonight. Absolutely. Thank you, David, for popping in the chat. We always love you popping in there. Any final notes on the main event or on the show in general?
Can't go wrong with the main event. Obviously, we know we're at least saying goodbye for now to the Machine Guns in the near future. So we saw the teased match of Nick Nemeth versus Alex Shelley. I'm sure that's going to be another main event. So we're kind of they're getting their proper due the way out the door. And like, it's the rub with the top people in the company now, like Steve Maclin, who people weren't sure because of his own contract situation, but it looks like that could be promising. And then obviously Nick Nemeth, who's main event in Rebellion. So some big names coming out.
Yeah.
David Penzer here. I will highlight as well. For sure, can't wait. So looking forward to that. Were you planning on being MLW tomorrow? Because they are in Tampa, Florida territory, David Penzer territory. I saw you were selling a ticket, and that is something with all the craziness of Mania Week coming up. I did because the tickets for this Tampa show of MLW went on sale in like January. So I'm like, I'll get it, and then I'll figure it out later. But about a week ago, I started coming up because it is also spring break still down in Florida. I'm like, for a quick turnaround trip, it just didn't make sense. And I got so busy with work this last week and knowing what next week's going to look at, I sadly have to bail on MLW because it's one of the things because MLW was pretty much based out of Philly for like the last year and a half.
They're finally spreading out again. They're going to hit Chicago later this year too.
Yeah, they went to New York City, but mainly out of Philly. So I'm like, hey, if I can support them, I will. But sadly, I can't make it down there. So as of now, I do have a front row ticket. If anybody is down in that area and looking for, hey, David Penzer, if you want the ticket, you let me know. I'll hook you up.
There you go.
But I believe they are coming back in a couple months to Tampa. So my plan will be, I think I have most of the TNA schedule figured out just based on the dates I know. So I think I know my availability pretty good. So, and it's outside of Mania season. So as long as that's there, I'll be there too. Because I still got to get down to Universal. I got to get my theme parks in before my pass expires and sometime this summer, I think. So I'll be down there soon enough. So I'll get you that cocktail.
Nice. Have one for me too. All right. That's going to do it for this episode of Total Nonstop Impact. Thank you, Bill.
You can tell, J-Bo, when it's a heavy promo show, which it was, that makes the review very quick.
It does. But there was some good matches in there, too. It just, Well, it helps when I forget segments, too. So, by the way. And thank you, Alisha, as always, for joining us as well.
Ray of sunshine.
Make sure you folks smash that like button, smash that sub button, ring that bell for notifications. Why? So that you know when more of our content hits your screen. Check out the descriptions down below, and make sure you check out Manscaped for great sale that is courtesy of us. Code TNI gets you 20% off and free shipping. Go get you some Manscaped. And on that note,
summer's on its way.
It's probably in about 7 months. Oh, sorry.
Well, springtime's going to hit, J-Bone. It's hitting hard. Springtime.
We get 2 months of summer. I'm sorry, so I don't get that.
Yeah,
excited.
you're in like the Arctic over there.
Yeah. All right, take care, everyone. We'll see you. Good night.